What's going on? John Sonmez here, and welcome back to the series on how to lose fat. I titled it How to Lose Fat because I know you don't really want to lose weight. What you want to do is you want to get unfatted, right? You want to lose the fat, okay? That's what most people want to do. Like losing weight is not really significant. Like the scale is less, that doesn't mean anything. You want to look, you're vain like me. We're all vain, it's okay. But we want to look better, right? We want to look better naked. We want to look better in our clothes altogether, right? So, welcome. If this is the first video you're watching on my channel and the series, yes, I am actually that crazy. But you want to click here to get the card where the series on how to lose fat begins. Okay, so you can watch the whole series, all the videos in this series. I think it's going to be like 12 videos. I'm still in the process of making it, obviously. You also want to click the subscribe button, and then when you click it, there'll be like a bell. You click that bell, you get notifications, which means that as new videos in the series come out, I tell you how to not be fat, okay? Not to be a fat ass, how to lose fat, all right? Because that's what this series is about. Now, with that out of the way, what are we going to be talking about today? So the topic for today is how to create a successful diet. Now, already we've talked about the ways to lose fat, the basics of losing fat. Some of that maybe what it was a little bit boring. It was some basic shit, okay? But and the ways that you can lose fat and kind of the basic myths about diet, right? I think that's the last video. So today I want to tell you about how to create an actual successful diet, how to create one for yourself, okay? Now, I'm not going to get into the specifics. Like in the next video or so, I'm going to be talking about intermittent fasting and longer fasting. I'll give you kind of the basics of the diet that I follow, okay? But you don't have to do that by any means. Again, remember what I said in the previous video about the most important thing about diet is compliance, okay? So it's all diets work if they have sound principles, which is calorie deficit. That's the only fucking sound thing for diet, for losing fat. It'll work if you're compliant, if you actually stick to it. If you don't stick to it, if you don't actually do what you're supposed to do, it's not gonna work, it doesn't matter. So that's number one rule, okay? We're talking about creating a diet now here. The number one rule is creating something that you can actually stick to and follow. Now, for the most part, okay, this means that what you have to do is you have to pre-plan shit ahead of time, okay? I've got some videos on this channel about making judgment calls, I think, or rationalizations. There's definitely videos on both of those topics. By the way, if you're new to the channel, when you go to the main channel, there's a little like magnifying glass. Click there and search. There's like 2,300 videos on this channel right now. If there's a topic that you're interested in, I've probably talked about it, okay? If not, then fucking send me an email or leave a comment below, and I will talk about it. But I'm getting sidetracked here. But the point is this, okay? Is that what you want to do is you want to plan things ahead of time because your judgment sucks, okay? The reason why you're fat is because you don't have good judgment. Now, I'm not saying that to be fucking mean to you because I don't have good judgment either, okay? But the difference between me and you is not that I have more willpower and discipline and I have better judgment than you, although maybe I have a little bit more discipline. The difference between me and you, okay, is that I pre-planned things. I took judgment out of the equation. Okay? And there's several ways to do that, but the biggest thing is planning things ahead of time, okay? Almost without fail. If I do not plan things ahead of time, okay, I will fucking fail at it because I will, in the moment, in the heat of the moment, I'll make a judgment call and I will choose to eat the fucking all 12 of the donuts, okay? That's how it works, all right? Almost without fail, okay? So, nothing wrong with you, nothing special about you either. Maybe there's something special you're a special snowflake, okay? But my point is this, is that if you do not plan, you will fail, right? Okay, so the number one thing that you're gonna do when you are constructing a diet, okay, is that you're going to plan out exactly how it's gonna go. Now, there's different levels of planning that you can do, okay? And depending on how disciplined you are, and how anal retentive you are, you're gonna want to adopt a stricter or less strict protocol, okay? For me, I'll tell you what my diet is and sort of what I'm doing right now, which is this. I fast, okay, until 5 o'clock every day, right? Until after my workouts every day, okay? And I eat that one meal, right? That's the basics of my diet, okay? Now, to get a little bit more specific, on Tuesdays, Thursdays, Saturdays, and Sundays, I have different diet protocols depending on how much fat I'm trying to lose or whatnot, if I'm trying to gain muscle. I'm either eating very, very low carbohydrate on Tuesday, Thursday, Saturday, Sunday, or I'm completely fasting those days, not eating at all. So only eating Monday, Wednesday, Friday. Yes, that might be crazy. Okay, but that's what I'm doing, and I have a very good compliance to that when I'm following that because I know what I'm supposed to do. Okay, now I have been more strict. I've specified exactly what I'm going to eat, but with what I'm doing, I don't need to because I know I get enough compliance with that along with my workouts and everything else. So I've got my schedule and my routine. Now, in the past, I've done diets where I have taken an Excel spreadsheet, I've calculated all the macros for how many calories everything is, and I've made meal A, meal B, meal C, meal D, meal E, meal F, right? That's 2 days worth of eating if I'm eating 3 meals a day, okay? And then I've repeated that, A through F, A through F, A through F. And I've had some variations of that, okay? The point is that you have to decide what level that you need in order to succeed. So you can pick any of the diets that you want, right? If you want to do intermittent fasting or longer term fasting, I'm going to be talking about in the next couple of videos. That's what I do. There's some reasons behind that. If you have more muscle, that's a better choice for you, or if you just don't have much time, right? One of the benefits of what I'm doing, which I'll talk about more in the later videos, is that I don't have to make very many decisions at all, right? When you have a hard and fast rule that you don't eat except for once a day, you only have to cook once or buy food once and eat that food one time. You don't have to, like, every time during the day when you're like, should I eat or not? There's no question because you already know the answer, okay? Because that's what you've chosen, okay? So that makes things very simple for me, and it makes it very easy for me to comply with my busy day, okay? I don't have to make stupid choices and decide if I'm going to eat a salad or if I'm going to go eat a burger, okay? There's no choice. It's nothing. I'm not eating anything, okay? So let's talk about your diet in general, okay? So the very first thing that you're going to do when you plan out a diet is what kind of diet that you're going to do, and it doesn't have to be anything. It doesn't have to be gimmicky at all. If you want to do ketogenic, if you want to do intermittent fasting, that's fine. If you want to do like a Mediterranean or paleo, that's fine. I'm not going to knock any of that shit. It all works, like I said. But here's the thing. Once you've decided that, next thing that you're going to do is you're going to go and you're going to calculate what your calories are going to be. Okay, this is, at least you're going to do this in the scientific way. Like I said, I think in the one of the previous videos, I said you could wing it if you're going to be in a super low deficit, right? If you're doing big fasting or whatnot, you don't necessarily have to count up all the calories and whatnot. You could do that, but if you're just sure that you're going to be a super low deficit, okay, then that's fine. Then you could just plan out eating like a very, very small amount of food. Less chance of compliance there, right? If you're gonna make a judgment call and you're like, oh, I'm just gonna do a small amount, like maybe like 800 calories, and you don't know what 800 calories is. See, I do know what 800 calories is because I've done this for a very long fucking time, okay? But if you don't, then you're gonna make judgment calls and you're gonna go way over that. And even I go over that when it's better if I could measure things out, for sure, right? I'll be much more compliant. So you gotta kind of decide there. Now, if I'm recommending what you should do, it's going to be this. It's going to be say, look, let's do this, okay? Let's go figure out, use that base metabolic rate, that calculator to calculate how many calories that you're burning per day, right? Just Google that. I talked about this earlier. You can check out some of the older videos on this series to see that, but you're basically going to look for a calorie calculator. You can figure out how many calories you expend in a day. I trust you. You're smart enough to do this, okay? So you figure out what that is, right? Like I said, maybe for me, it's like around 3,500 calories, okay? Then you're going to figure out what you want your deficit to be, okay? Now, the rule of thumb is this, okay? Approximately 3,500 calories is about a pound of fat, okay? So if you want to lose a pound of fat a week, how many calories you need to be in a deficit per day? 500, okay? Right? 500 times 7, okay? And no cheat meals, okay? So if you want to lose more than that, what's your deficit? If you want to lose 2 pounds, be 1,000 calorie deficit. So you figure out what that is. Now, I would recommend having a higher deficit. I know a lot of people that talk about dieting, if I say, don't make your deficit too bad or you're going to like mess up your metabolism, bullshit. The most people that fuck up on the diet are because they miscalculate things and they're just a slight difference. So here's the thing. If you only have like, let's say a 300 calorie deficit, okay? You could very easily miscalculate a few things and your base metabolic rate calculation could be off by a little bit. And instead of being in a 300 calorie deficit, right, you could have a 400, plus or minus difference. You could actually be in a 100 calorie surplus. Well, won't that fucking suck when you're restricting yourself and dieting and you're thinking you're doing a good job and you're working really, really hard and you're actually slowly gaining weight over time? That fucking sucks. Believe me, I've done that before. It really fucking sucks because that'll wear on you like nothing else, okay? If you're going to have the discipline, I would suggest having just a little bit. It's so much easier to have just a little bit more discipline, to be in a little bit more of a deficit than to risk fucking it all up, okay? So I would suggest something bigger, right? Maybe 1,000 calorie deficit, okay? It depends on how big you are, right? If you're a 108-pound woman, okay, you're probably like 1,000 calorie deficit is going to be tough because your base calories might be only like 1,400, okay? So you're going to eat 400 calories a day. It's doable for sure, especially if we're doing fasting, but just realize that's going to be pretty extreme. So maybe you can't do it there. But then if you're a 108-pound woman, how much weight do you really fucking need to lose? Do you need to lose more than a pound a week? I don't think so. Maybe like a quarter of a pound a week would be fine. All right. You probably don't need to lose any weight. You're anorexic. Go see a doctor. All right. So the point is this. All right. What you're going to do is you're going to go and you're going to calculate that. You're going to calculate what the deficit is. And then if I'm you, right, and I want to make sure that this shit happens and it works, I'm coming up with meal A and meal B. It's very bland, it's very boring, right? Or day A and day B. We could just say that, okay? Since you're probably not just eating one meal a day. If you are, it's fine. But day A and day B. So day A, you go through spreadsheet, go on MyFitnessPal or whatever, or calorieking.com or any of those sites, okay, and calculate the calories and figure out what foods you're going to eat, okay, and calculate that all up to it adds up right? You might have to adjust the portions, eat one less egg or one half egg more or a little bit less avocado or whatever it is, okay? Now, with that said, here's your staples. This is the kind of food that you want to eat. There's different variations for different diets, but in general, right, if you just like a general diet, you want to eat lean protein sources. So that's like chicken, turkey, okay, without the skin, things like that, like a sirloin steak, okay. If you're, vegan or whatever, then maybe you're taking some, well, I guess whey protein or lentils, things like that are going to be protein sources, okay. You want to eat high index glycemic or low glycemic index foods, right? So very complex carbohydrates, right? So things like, potatoes, like more like sweet potato, more like brown rice, right? More like, vegetables, right? A lot of vegetables like broccoli, spinach, cauliflower, like those type of things, Brussels sprouts, right? And here's a good like little trick for you. Just go to bodybuilding.com and look at all their diet plans. Like see all those foods they have in there, like fucking oatmeal and chicken breasts and broccoli. There's a reason why they eat those foods. So those are the kind of foods that you want to generally keep in there. Now, yeah, you can have some other stuff in there and it's fine, but you generally want to keep those type of things in there because those are going to affect what kind of weight you lose, especially if you have some muscle, okay? So that's pretty important, okay? Now, but deficit is more important, right? If anything, choose deficit. If you, again, and this comes down to compliance. If you can't eat those kind of foods and be compliant, then sure, okay, then just fucking regular sandwich or Subway sandwich or whatever it is, as long as that it's pretty accurate, right? You're gonna have to give yourself wiggle room and you have that deficit. That's the most important thing. Okay, so next, what do? You go shopping and you get meal A or day A and day B. And if you're cooking those foods, you at the beginning of the week, okay, you cook it all up and you put it in Tupperwares. You buy a bunch of Tupperwares and you know what you're going to eat when. And you figure out your meal time exactly to the second when you're eating, okay? And you just stick to the fucking plan. No judgment. If you're going to have a cheat meal or something like that, then you plan that ahead of time and you sort of plan what the ranges, what the rules are going to be around that. You can make your own rules around this, but be aware that you're going to need to be in a deficit and that whatever people say about cheat meals, it's still numbers, right? It's still like if you eat a 5,000 calorie cheat meal, okay, and you're only burning 2,000 calories a day, you have a surplus of 3,000. So if you were in a deficit of 500 calories a day for a week and your deficit total was 3,500 calories, and you just ate a cheat meal that put you 3,000 over, now your deficit is 500 for the week. Congratulations, you're still fat, okay? So that's what you have to remember, okay? This is really, really important. So that's the key thing, right? That it doesn't matter what else you do, whether you're doing a cabbage soup diet or fucking ketogenic diet or whatever it is, as long as you're in that deficit and you get the compliance. So you got to plan this stuff out. You got to plan out what you're going to do. If you don't, if you're just thinking I'm going to wing it and make decisions, you're probably going to fail. You will fail eventually, okay? And even with my diet, right? even though I'm kind of like winging it, I'm like going to the grocery store and picking up, like today I got some chicken and some broccoli, and I'm basically eating, pretty much same foods. I have a very strict plan, and I'm in a super high deficit, right? So I know what days I'm fasting until 5 o'clock every day, right? So I have a framework that I'm obeying. I'm not just like eating however I feel all during the day, right, and leaving it up to my judgment and saying, well, I'm still hungry, so I must be burning calories and being in deficit. I'm not going to do that. I'm not going to leave that to chance. Okay, so my screensaver just went on, which means that I'm probably done with this video at this point. That's weird. Okay, so let's see here. Wrapping it up, I think you know enough about how to create a successful diet. One last thing I'll say about this. If you're having trouble doing this, okay, because sometimes it's a pain in the ass, just copy someone else's diet. Just copy someone else's diet and just adjust it. Or, a lot of online coaches that do, I don't do it because I'm not going to fucking waste my time doing it. Honestly, it's not worth my time. But if you find an online coach, you literally just pay someone to make a diet plan for you, and you tell them what your macros are, right? What kind of like breakdown do you want, like high carb, low carb, right? Ketogenic, and how many calories you want per day, and say, make me a fucking diet. And then you just follow that diet, right? So that's a simple hack. If you have more money than you have time, that's what I would do, okay? So just do that. All right, that's all I got for you today. We're going to be talking about in the next video, intermittent fasting. I'm going to tell you about the basics of intermittent fasting. We've already talked about how it doesn't really do anything magical, but I'm going to talk about this anyway, and sort of my thoughts on that. So make sure you click the subscribe button, make sure you click the bell to stay tuned. And like I said, you want to check out all the videos in the series, it'll be in the link below, and I'll keep on expanding on this series. So I'll talk to you next time. Take care.